Miami Heat defeat the Detroit Pistons 104 to 101 after Bam Adebayo hit a go-ahead three-pointer with no time left at the buzzer to win the game. Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat basketball channel. My name is Amir. Before I get into the post-game recap, just want to thank everybody for subscribing to the channel. I just hit 1,000 subscribers, so thank you so much for that. I'm on my path to 2,000 subscribers now, so if you guys could subscribe to the channel, that would mean a lot to me. So thank you so much. So anyway, the Miami Heat played the Detroit Pistons twice this weekend. The Miami Heat won on Friday by 12 points, and then today the Miami Heat narrowly escaped the horrible lowly Pistons by 3 points after the Miami Heat almost blew a 17-point lead. So, for this game, Jimmy Butler missed his 20th game of the season, so he was out with left or right foot contusion. And Nikola Jovic was also out, and we all know that Tyler Hero has been out for 11 straight games now. And so we were missing three starters tonight, but regardless, I knew the Heat were going to win, and I expected the Heat to win by more. And they were playing really well. Like they were up by 17, maybe 18 at most at one point in the second or third quarter, excuse me. They were up by 10 going into the half. The first quarter, the Miami Heat were down by 2. It was a really close game. And we started off the game really hot. The Heat were 13, scored the first 13 points. It was 13-4. And Detroit went on a timeout. And then they went on like 11-0 run and took the lead. And the Miami's offense was stagnant. And second quarter, though, Duncan Robinson played really well and started hitting some timely three-pointers, was getting to the basket, was distributing. Terry Rozier was also getting to the cup and finishing pretty decently in the first half at the rim. And they were able to take a 10-point lead going into halftime. And then in the third quarter, we were able to extend that to 17 until the Miami Heat then allowed the Detroit Pistons to come back by having a horrible third quarter. So the beginning of the third quarter, Miami was playing well, but then towards the end, they again were stagnant on offense. They weren't able to score, weren't able to hit the three, and had some costly turnovers and allowed Detroit to come back and make it a close game. So either way, the Miami Heat played well enough to win on the road, and it's hard to beat any team back to back, especially when you're playing on the road back to back on a single weekend versus the same team. So even though the Detroit Pistons are like the second worst team in basketball, and we were missing folks, it still was going to be a tough game, even if we had Jimmy Butler, because this Miami Heat team struggles to score offensively, and they're only able to score 104 points on a bad Detroit defense. And it's a frustrating win, but a win's a win. So at this point, you're going to take it, especially when three starters are out, your best player is out, and you're on the road, and there's only 16 games left, 15 now, and you're fighting for playoff positioning. You need to win, especially after you went on a 4-game losing streak. So we won 2 in a row. We're on a 2-game winning streak. Thanks to the Detroit Pistons. So this can possibly put us back in the right direction. We got on the right foot, hopefully, and now we play against the Sixers tomorrow on the road, and we follow that up with a game against the Cleveland Cavs Wednesday on the road to finalize this 4-game road trip. So no idea if Jimmy Butler is going to play. Hopefully he does. Hopefully he sat out today so he can play against the Sixers because they're, I believe, a half game ahead of the Miami Heat in the 7th spot. And so tonight, let's look at the box score real quick. So Jaime Jaquez Jr. started in place of Jimmy Butler. Played pretty well, wasn't super efficient, but had 15 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds. So solid game for Jaime. Haywood Highsmith also started for Nikola Jovic. And defensively, he played fine, but offensively played very poorly. Didn't really do anything. Had 3 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist. Bam Adebayo, big game for Bam. He was 9 for 13 from the field, super efficient, and 20 points, 17 boards, 3 assists, including, again, the game-winning 3. So Bam has now hit 3 threes in a row. He didn't take a single three-pointer in the game until the last shot of the game. So I was actually semi-surprised. I thought because Bam hit 2 threes consecutively in 2 games in a row, I thought he would want to try to extend that streak earlier in the game. and he typically takes threes above the break, top of the key, and he actually did take one, but it was with 1 second left after Terry Rozier threw him a pass after he was double teamed, trying to penetrate, and he threw it to Bam, caught it, and shot like a 28-foot 3-pointer. So he was like 3 feet beyond the 3-point line and hit that three. So huge game for Bam Adebayo. Like once he took his rest in the third quarter when the Heat were up by 16, 17, that's when Detroit went on their run. And that's when Evan Fournier and Isaiah Stewart and some other folks, Kate Cunningham, of course, started to make a dent in that run. So huge game for Bam. That's a huge shot from an all-star. So again, it sucks that we barely beat the Pistons, but a win's a win, and I'll take it, even though it was a frustrating game. Terry Rozier, I expected him to shoot a bunch. He shot 20 shots. He was 8 for 20, 1 for 6 from three, so not efficient at all, but still 17 points, was getting to the cup in the first half, played well. And more importantly, though, he contributed in other ways, even though he wasn't shooting efficiently. He had 6 rebounds and 9 assists with 0 turnovers. So he has been distributing better and playmaking better than I thought he would. He's a combo guard. He's more of a scoring point guard. And he's been really good. He's been really solid as a playmaker, finding teammates and putting them in position to score, which is good. So good game for Terry. Not the most efficient, but 17 points on 20 shots. That's not great. But either way, he helped contribute to the win. Duncan Robinson. So one of his best games of the year, one of the best games of his career, possibly. 30 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds. He had like 7 3-pointers. He was in his bag tonight. He was getting to the rim. He was finishing out the glass. He had some floaters. Of course, he had the threes. And he was also distributing the ball really well off the dribble. Pick and roll with Bam Adebayo was clean. He had a couple of nice assists to Jaime Jaquez as he was driving to the hoop, and then Jaime cut weak side, and he was able to find him. And so Duncan Robinson, huge game as our starting shooting guard. And again, everybody's talking about it. Once Tyler comes back, he is going to come off the bench. There's not enough time for him to come back and start right now. So Duncan Robinson for the foreseeable future and into the playoffs is going to be our starting shooting guard. Other players that contributed tonight, Caleb Martin off the bench, 10 points, 7 rebounds, played decently well. He had 8 points in the first half. He came out really hot in the first quarter and the beginning of the second quarter, and then cooled down in the second half. But either way, double digits, 10 and 7, can't complain. I'll take that from Caleb all day. DeLon Wright finally played. He was back in the rotation. That was expected after Jimmy Jovic was out, Tyler Hero's out, and he played pretty well. He played 21 minutes. He had 6 points and 3 rebounds, and he looked good on the defensive end. He was fighting through screens. He was going after loose balls, getting some deflections. He looked good defensively, and he needs to be in our rotation. Patty Mills got 10 minutes, but he only had 1 point, 1 assist, 1 rebound. So I'm happy that DeLon got those minutes over Patty Mills. And I think he should still be in the rotation. As long as we have injuries, and again, as long as like we need point of attack defense and perimeter defense, when other players are slacking and lacking, I think we need to play him more. So anyway, that's all I have for this recap. The Miami Heat again win 104-101 thanks to Bam Adebayo. They're going to be playing against the 76ers tomorrow in a big game that we need to win. Hopefully Jimmy Butler is going to play. I don't have any update on that, but once I do, I will let you know. So thanks for watching, guys. Have a good night.